Most favorite little script here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to planning board meeting for Monday, February 12th. We're using Zoom for this meeting, which allows for the public to participate in the meeting as an attendee. The chair can request members of the public provide their names for the purpose of keeping accurate minutes for the meeting. Attendees must register to participate, and the registration link is unique to the meeting. The registration link can be found in the description of the Nantucket Government TV YouTube feed for the meeting. Attendees will join in listening mode, and they can click to raise their hand if they wish to speak. The chair will call on those who have raised their hand in the order they've raised it. All questions shall be directed through the chair. As a preliminary matter, let me identify the members. I will call your name in the affirmative. Please respond in the affirmative. Joe Perry.
Joe Perry.
Joe Perry.
Why am I saying Joe Perry? Wow.
Went to school
Joe
with Joe
Topham.
Wow.
At least it's my brother-in-law.
I know.
You're in the family.
That's where it came from. God. Joe Topham.
Aye.
Barry Rector.
Aye.
And I'm here, the chair, Dave Iverson. Alternates, Stephen Welch.
Yeah.
Is Abby with us or no? Okay, John Kitchener.
I think Abby might be the 617 number. I'll rename her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Abby, are you here? Do you need to unmute? All right, we'll come back to that. Barry, I called your name, right?
You sure did.
I'm losing my mind.
Oh my God. Got to stick to the script there, lad.
I'm telling you. So Stephen Welch, John Kitchener.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm still here.
We never know.
Yeah. Double check.
Thank goodness. Staff members, Meg Trudell,
Here.
William Stodd,
Here.
Catherine Ansero.
Here.
Perfect. All righty. I think that covers all those bases. This is an open meeting of the Nantucket Planning Board. It's being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless the participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Planning Board is convening a video conference via Zoom app. It's posted on the town website identifying the public may join. Please note that the meeting was recording and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to share your computer. Anything you broadcast will be captured by the recording. All supporting materials have been provided by members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective, clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meetings. The chair will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each to provide any comment or questions or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone and computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in a conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. Just a reminder for the public, any public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. And we are on to the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes? Actually, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda first, please.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Moved by Joe Topham, seconded by Barry.
Topham says aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Barry,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Everyone have a chance to read the minutes?
Yeah.
Any questions, changes?
No.
I'm
Okay,
going to make a motion at this point. We approve the minutes from January 18th, January 25th, and February 8th as submitted.
thank
Second.
you. Motion by Barry, seconded by Joe. Barry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. On to the second dwellings. We are gonna pull John Daly, 6 Nobody Way. So, we're gonna do Robin B. Lord at 9 Old Westmore Farm, Gail and Richard Valero at 7 Waydale Road. For garage apartments, we're gonna do Henry A. Butler and Cassandra L. Butler at 3 Evergreen. And tertiaries, we're gonna do Kim Eric Farm LLC at 128 Potomac Pond Road. We do the A&R separately, correct? Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, I entertain a motion on those.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Moved by Joe, seconded by Barry. Joe,
Aye.
Barry,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. So let's just deal with the John Daly at 6 Nobody Way real quick
Mhm.
here. So Meg, do you want to explain what's going on here?
Sure, so this is moving to R10 Limited, this zoning district where this property is located, which requires a special permit for a second dwelling. Because it's already been advertised, even though it hasn't technically moved to R10 Limited yet, we have to go by R10 Limited standards. So for that reason, you're not able to approve a non-public hearing second dwelling at 6 Nobody Way. It will require a special permit to move forward.
Mhm.
Thank you, Meg. So, gentlemen,
Through you to
Good.
staff.
yes.
Go ahead, Joe. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I was gonna.
No, so
ask the
really
question.
what we want to do is just take this off the agenda without prejudice. Just, right, Megan?
Yeah, or deny without prejudice, take out off the agenda without prejudice, withdraw without, however you want to phrase it. It's not approvable in its current form.
But that's okay. So the applicant didn't ask for a withdrawal, right? Did not. Okay.
But Barry,
So,
if I can interrupt for a second, I think
yeah, please.
I asked Meg the same question and she said that if we deny it, it still doesn't stop them from coming back with the
Sure.
proper.
All right.
We're not inhibiting their ability to come back in any way.
Okay. So that'll be my motion then, is to deny the application without prejudice.
Second.
Right, motion made by Barry, seconded by Joe. Barry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. All right, for the A&Rs, we have 1 and 3 Backstreet LLC, 1 and 3 Backstreet. We have Martin Edward Stone, 38 Hooper Farm Road, and we have LaBraca Real Estate, 52 Burnell Street.
At Burnell Street will have
I'm
to
sorry,
wait.
Brunel, let me take Brunel out of there. I apologize. So it's just the 2 Backstreet and Hooper Farm Road, and we'll circle back to LaBraca.
Sure.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Right, motion made by Joe, seconded by Barry. Joe,
Aye.
Barry,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay, on to previous plans. We've got the Van Gilder subdivision.
Mhm. I'll make a motion that we endorse.
Um,
Second.
no discussion on this.
No.
Unless you have something there, Mr. Chair.
Meg,
I would just, if you wouldn't mind, make your motion that you would endorse pending any review and approval from the town's consulting engineer.
Then that'll be my motion. Thank you.
perfect.
And I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Barry, seconded by Joe. Barry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. All right, moving right along. All right, I'm gonna take all of these continuations on one vote. Is that kosher? Okay, so we've got Greg Gowacki at 11 and 13 Miller Lane. We've got 6 Daisy LLC at 6 Daisy Way. Got Stephen Cohen as trustee of 8 Wallbang, nominee 8 Wallbang Avenue. We've got Catherine Dean Schulman, trustee of Carol W. Dean Revocable Trust at 48 West Maya Comet. We've got AC REIT 1865 LLC at 9 Hinsdale.
Mhm.
all for a continuation until March 11th. Barry,
Was it Acrete who wanted to continue or US Reef Marine Nantucket?
nope, it's ACRE, US Reef Nantucket we're gonna talk about after this.
All right, yeah, no, okay, so I missed that. All right. That's my motion then. We'll allow them to continue to March 11th.
Great, thank you.
Second.
All right, motion made by Barry, seconded by Joe. Barry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. All right. On to US Reef Marine Nantucket Fee LLC 6A, 6C, 6D, 6E, 6F, Bayberry Court. Do we have Arthur representing this or? Yes, we do.
Arthur.
I'm promoting Arthur, Walt Spakowski, and Ron Foster right now, Mr. Chair.
All right, great. Welcome, gentlemen. Arthur, would you like to introduce this to us?
Yes, I finally got myself unmuted.
All righty.
Thank you very much. I represent the applicant in this, which is the entity that owns the real estate aspects of Marine Home Center. I have here with me on the call Ron Foster and Walt Spakowski of Marine Home Center to help with the presentation and answer any questions that you may have. The point on this is that the Marine Home Center related entity owns the entire building of Building 6 of Nantucket Commons. As you know, Nantucket Commons is a single condominium that owns the entire project that was originally developed. And all the units in Building 6 belong to the Marine entity. And at the present time, that is permitted for retail use. It's actually leased to the hospital at the present time. And they have their PT operations in there. At the end of that lease, we want to convert that to use as the entire building for residential purposes. Like everybody else on the island, Marine Home Center badly needs residential units for its employees. And we're working on plans to convert the building so that there would be 8, again, this is still somewhat of a work in progress, but the plan is to have 8 units and no more than 2 bedrooms in any unit. More likely there will be a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom units, but there will be a maximum of 16 bedrooms. The condominium association has approved the change. We've already had a meeting and then consent signed by the condo unit owners. This is very similar to what we did a couple of years ago when Rockland Trust took over Nantucket Bank from Blue Hills. And in Building 9, the certain of the commercial units in that building that were being occupied by back office use by Nantucket Bank were approved by the board and by the condo association to be converted into residential units. I would point out that the parking table that was appended to a 2000 version of the special permit amendments relating to the Nantucket Commons showed Building 6 as being entirely in retail space and requiring 39 parking spaces. The result of having a residential use with a maximum of 16 bedrooms would obviously result under the parking tables with there being a requirement for no more than 16 parking spaces. So it's obviously a substantial reduction in the intensity of the need for parking spaces compared to what was there before. We have not at this point done a full current analysis of the way that the parking spaces in the commons are set up in terms of the total number of them and so on. As a practical matter, the way that space is cut up, there are certain spaces that serve certain of the buildings in the commons, which are separated from each other by, in some cases, quite a bit. So as a practical matter, if the calculation was 39 for the existing use there, and we're going to 16, I think that pretty much indicates that what we're doing is not going to have any adverse impact, and in fact, will have a beneficial impact. Plus, we're providing more employee housing, which is, I think, essential. In terms of the project, this is being done under the major commercial development special permit. That's the umbrella for the whole Nantucket Commons, rather than the more recent amendments to the bylaw allowing for apartment houses and apartments. We are doing this on the basis of the provision that the planning board can increase the number of units on a site as long as they're inclusionary units. And therefore, and that's the same basis that it was done on the Nantucket Bank Rockland Trust units a few years ago. We are still working on the exact layout of the units, but I can say that we will not be having more than 16 bedrooms definitively, and almost certainly no more than 8 residential units. As I say, Ron and Walt are on the call. If they have anything else to say and to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Arthur. Meg, I need to appoint 2 people for this.
Yes, if you're ready to make a decision, I would recommend appointing 2.
Let's have Steve and Abby sit on this one, please. Any questions from the board? Arthur, without the inclusionary provision, does this site max out at a certain amount of bedrooms or units?
Well, bear in mind that it's all one property in common ownership. The whole commons. It's essentially a single parcel that, however, has many lot lines running through it, because at the time that it was originally permitted, there was a provision that there could be no more than 2 dwelling units on a lot. That's been changed subsequently with regard to commercial properties, and also with regard to specifically MCDs, the ability to for the planning board to allow more units on the lot than would otherwise be permissible. So I don't think that we're dealing with a specific limitation based upon area, as we would be if we were operating under the apartment provision of the bylaw. Again, we're an MCD, so we're able to operate under those provisions.
And I wasn't looking to limit you in any way. I was just wondering, so thank you.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting question, and you know, the bylaw has changed quite a bit over the years, as well as the way that the planning board has handled things relating to inclusionary units. But I think as I say, the precedent was set a few years ago, I think, when we did this project for the bank. And again, we're following the same pattern here. And again, I think we can all agree that providing the additional housing is something that every business on the island is wrestling with at the present time and doing the best that they can with.
100%. Before I go to the public, any board members? Oh. Billy, do we have anyone in the public?
No, there are currently no hands raised.
Alrighty.
Oh,
Board members?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just, thank you. I just say, I think this area and these buildings are rather uniquely situated for this type of density. I think it's probably one of the better uses, so.
I mean, I think it's undeniable. It's a great use. It's close to, it's close to the grocery store. It's close to bus. It's on sewer and water. It all makes sense 100%. Barry,
Yeah, so if Mr. Welch is done,
Yes, sir.
beautiful. I'm gonna make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Second.
all right, motion made by Barry, seconded by Steve. Barry,
Aye.
Steve,
All right.
Abby,
Aye.
Joe.
Did it work?
Aye.
It worked. And I'm an I as well.
And Mr. Chairman, I make a motion at this point that we approve the AR subdivision with the findings, conditions as denoted in the, from staff in the packet.
But I think this is a modification of the MCD, right? It's not.
I'm sorry, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I was scratching my head for a second.
Yeah, that's okay. No, I think I said to you earlier, read the script, huh?
Stay on script, Barry.
Stay on script. But anyways, I want to this needs a positive recommendation to move ahead, and this is what I want to have happen.
Agreed. Can we add in
Something else?
site plan details and a proposed floor plan to be approved by staff? Is that what you're for, Meg?
In addition to everything that's there, absolutely.
Great. We have a second?
Second.
All right, motion made by Barry, second by Stephen. Barry,
Aye.
Stephen,
All right.
Abby,
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
And I'm an I as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Much needed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, we are on to Carl Shoesland. I know I'm butchering that. I apologize. Sherland. Julie Fitzgerald of the Carl Sherland Trust at 24 Appleton Road and 3 Knobska Way. Meg's been working
Julie,
hard.
would you mind to bring over, oh, good, Julian, Leo. The only update we have is that I did have a great meeting with Julie and Carl. We went over some potential use restrictions, which I included in the packet. Some of them, I think, after further conversation made sense to just outright prohibit. Others, I think it would be more appropriate that if they were to ever come to fruition, move forward with a special permit. So that way the board would have the opportunity to weigh in on a specific proposal. So included in the staff report is I separated them by the restrictions and then the special permit uses. I also went ahead and Billy forwarded, I believe, an email from Mr. Pesci. So if that wasn't included in your packet, I think those are the only outstanding updates we were waiting on from the last meeting, and that's all I have at this point.
Great. Thank you. I can't see, did you bring over Carl or is the applicant have any comments? Or are we good? Carl and Julie or Leo? There's Leo.
Yeah, I did can you hear me well enough?
We can, yes.
I did review Ed's review itself and pretty pro forma. I've seen it before. I'm in the process right now of trying to set up a meeting with the fire department on this issue regarding the access and the hydrant. I did talk to, during the design phase, we did speak with Comet, and we had a tentative location of where a hydrant was to go, but I wanted the fire department to weigh in on it. We just didn't have time to solidify that location. Obviously, it's going to be just opposite this entrance road. And as far as dry wells and things of that nature, everything that he asked for, along with a owner's manual for the drainage upkeep, it's all pretty standard. We have a standard form that just would need to be revised for this particular site. So I didn't have any problems with what Ed came up with, and we'll work them out, make the revisions, submit them, and go from there.
Great, Leo. Thank you. Julie, you have your hand up? Julie, can you hear us? You're muted, I think. Your hand is up.
Yeah.
There you go. We can hear you now.
I think the only questions or comments we had is, would be, requesting that lots 1, 5, and 6, which front on Appleton Road, be released before the roadway is done, since that roadway doesn't really impact those particular lots. And also on the, $2,500 per dwelling, I know in another application you were discussing, having that maybe imposed when somebody pulls a building permit, just because since these have a, potential for commercial use, there wouldn't be the residential use. And there's already one dwelling unit on one of the lots as well. So we're asking for, I guess, a reduction, change for those reasons.
Okay, I'm not clear what you were asking, Julie. Can you restate that again? I'm sorry.
Okay, I guess, well, lots 1, 5, and 6 to be released from the covenant since they're not needing the interior roadway.
Okay,
And then there's the applicant, they're talking about the monetary contribution of $2,500 a lot based on 2 dwelling units per lot. In light of the fact that, these may be commercial use, there may not be the residential use. That I think in another discussion on another property in the last meeting, there was some discussion about basically not requiring that be paid until there was an application for a residential dwelling building permit.
Meg, can you address that, please?
I think that's fine to do that.
Yeah.
You can just tweak the language in condition 9.
Okay,
And I guess the other question would just be about, there is an existing dwelling, is that excluded from the imposition of the $2,500?
great.
Yeah, otherwise I think we agreed, we met with Megan, we talked to you, Dave, about the restrictions, and we were fine with eliminating some of the commercial uses, and the other ones would would also have special permits, so if the neighbors have any concerns and so forth, that could be addressed there.
No, yeah, you guys were great, and I think that is a more realistic group of uses than the whole 9 yards. So we appreciate that very much. Is that it for now, Julie?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. No, thank you. Board members. Questions?
Mm-mm.
Do we have anyone in the public, Billy?
What was the 5,000 per lot?
No, no, there are no hands raised.
Right. Gentlemen, yes, Barry.
Let me just think for a minute. I'm sorry.
We got to close the public.
If we're
And-
there,
Yeah, we don't need to activate anyone for this.
no, can't.
I didn't think so, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna make a motion, we close the public hearing then, so sorry.
Second.
All right, motion made by Barry, seconded by Joe. Barry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well.
And
Barry, do
okay.
you have-
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, I
Okay.
didn't know if you had any concerns, otherwise I was gonna make a motion.
Go, keep going.
He's bailing you right out, Barry.
No, this is all good. This is all good.
Motion to approve with Megan Trudell's minor edits and condition number 9.
And I'll second that.
And we're making sure that the applicant's gonna follow up with Pesci's Concern, perfect.
Yep,
So,
sorry.
motion made by Joe, seconded by Barry. Joe,
Aye.
Barry,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Congratulations, guys. And I'm sure we'll talk more in the future.
Mhm.
Thank you, Leo. All right. On to Daniel H. Galt, 12 Essex Road. And Meg, I need to appoint two on this, correct?
So this is a subdivision amendment, so this is
Oh,
just,
it's a subdivision amendment. Okay,
Now,
gotcha.
there will be a second piece to this forthcoming at some point in the future that involves a special permit. So this is
Okay.
just step one, clarifying that subdivision decision.
Perfect. All righty. Welcome, Daniel. You're making me dizzy.
guys.
buddy. You're making me dizzy. Hey, Tori.
I'm here. Thanks.
You want to walk us through this, Tori?
Sure. So we left it that we wanted to have a conversation with the homeowners association. We were able to do that and have a favorable response and support from them on that. I have summarized the restrictions and the original details also that Billy emailed you today, I believe, to kind of show you how it was laid out originally with the planning board's ability to offer the changes that we're asking for. Is that the right way to say it? And I don't know if there's much more to say. We've got the parking all to the interior of the lot. The homeowners association letter does dictate that we recognize specifically in the decision, the parking as a point of interest and part of the approval. And I think that's everything for now.
And Meg, will we deal with that parking in the special permit part of this?
Yeah, the parking would be more appropriate to deal with the special permit.
Yep, that's what I thought. Great, thank you. Is that it, Tori?
Yep.
Anything to add, Dan?
Nope. Just we followed through with your requests. We brought it before the board, and they seemed favorable. Everybody's in agreement that we're not going for any additional ground coverage. We're just trying to develop what we have there for year-round housing for some employees
Oh, we
with plenty of
appreciate it.
parking.
Makes our life easier. Much appreciated. Board members. Billy, do we have anyone in the public?
No, there are no hands raised.
All righty.
Make a motion, then we close the public hearing, sir.
Second.
Motion made by Barry, seconded by Joe. Barry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Thank you.
And I'll go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That's okay. I'll make a motion at this point that we approve the amendment to the definitive subdivision plan.
I will second.
With the findings and conditions as denoted.
Second.
Perfect. Motion made by Barry, seconded by Joe. Barry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, guys, on to the next step.
Guys,
Yeah,
I appreciate all the help. Thank you. Thank
we
you.
appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, LaBraca Realty Trust, 52 Burnell Street.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to recuse.
Ooh.
You
You
gotta
need-
find old.
3 alternates you need for this one.
Yep.
This is a subdivision though?
No, this is
Oh, it's
a,
a special permit for gotcha, for the rear lot. Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you, Joe. See you in a few. So everyone gets appointed. Welcome to the party.
Afternoon.
Dan, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good.
I missed when I was switching over. Do we have enough people to vote?
You have all the
Mhm.
alternates and Barry and myself.
Okay, so I'll make this very quick. At the board's last meeting, you approved a 3-lot amendment to the previous subdivision on this property. The purpose of that plan was to show that the property could support 3 lots, so we could then move forward with the 3-lot rear lot special permit that's in front of you tonight. There are no changes proposed with the previous approval in terms of roadway requirements, access, utilities. Everything is exactly the same. It's just going from 2 lots to 3. That is it.
Makes sense to me. Thank you. Board members, any questions? Barry?
Yeah, just through you to staff or maybe Mr. Malloy, just talk to me a little bit about Oliver's Way and maybe I don't see everything necessarily being addressed through the internal roadway, but to get it just back into its appropriate alignment. And up front, it is a little bit on the big side, so.
All right, I can probably answer that one, I think.
Please, yeah, would you?
So just as a quick history here, some of the alternates may not have been part of the previous applications. So you're looking at 52 Burnell Street, which is these 3 lots. Previous to this, probably 2-3 months ago, the board approved a 3-lot subdivision behind this at 50 Burnell. And as part of these 2 approvals, the roadway that is now called Oliver's Way, there'll be one roadway, which will, looking at what's up on the screen there, right above where the mouse cursor is, you'll see lot 37.
Right.
And then below that, you'll see another rectangle. And so basically those 2 rectangles will be connected to create one road, which will go all the way down Oliver's Way. It will serve these 3 lots for access, and then 3 additional lots at the end. So overall, the intent of this application is not just to create the 3 lots, but also to bring this approval in line with the approval at 50 Burnell with the shared access.
I'm still going to go back to my original question though, because as you get on lot 35, as you get toward the end of it, the layout of Oliver's Way kind of meanders in directly up into the lot.
It does. It will meander into the lot. We've got an easement within lot 35 to contain that.
Okay.
So the road will meander. The intent there was to get it away from Plainfield Road, just to preserve the vegetation for the abutters.
Okay. Yeah, because I know in the past we usually, when we see something like this where that is happening, we're usually trying to get it corrected somehow, just for future use. But if staff thinks we're good with that minor deviation, then that's it. We're fine.
Yeah, I think in this particular case, because there was such conversation with the subdivision over at 50 about preserving the existing vegetation and fencing, it's really important.
Okay.
Section here.
Thank you.
Did Pesci look at this? Is Pesci's?
Ed doesn't review rear lot subdivisions. He only reviews AR subdivisions. That said, there's still a review component to this, and he's been communicating with Dan.
I'm just concerned about stormwater and other such things.
I can address that quickly. So as part of the AR approvals for both 50 and 52, Ed Pesci's involved with both of those, and the previous approval you granted on 50 required stormwater improvements to act for the whole road. So the whole stormwater roadway improvement discussion was put in place with requirements under number 50 that will then be lined up as part of number 52. Okay. So there will be a roadway requirements, there'll be utilities, there'll be stormwater, and Ed Pesci is reviewing all of that.
Okay, yeah, I'm just concerned with more non-permeable surface, more water with no place to go is my only concern. So, Stephen?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Through you, Meg, how do we memorialize Dan's comments with respect to the previous approval transferring to this?
You mean as it relates to stormwater?
All of any of the conditions that were previously, I think he mentioned more than one.
So we can carry that over. We can maybe in the body of the decision talk about the roadway and the easements, and as a condition we can I don't know how to phrase it exactly on the fly, but I'll put some thought into it, basically memorializing that he'll be continuing to work with Ed on the stormwater. in the roadway improvements.
Thank you.
Any other board members? Billy, do we have anyone in the public?
We do. I'm promoting Emily Molden.
Welcome, Emily.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Emily Molden here. Just one sort of follow-up question because I was having a hard time remembering as well relative to the stormwater and Ed Pesci's review. So because this amendment is obviously to increase the number of lots as part of this subdivision, for the AR portion, was that re-reviewed by Ed Pesci as far as like the roadway improvements and requirements relative to the increased number of lots? Thank you.
Yes, that was reviewed as a part of the AR modification application for 52 last month, and then also the 50 Burnell Street application that was several months prior to that.
That got your, is that enough? Perfect. Anything else, Emily? You good? Perfect. All right, great.
Mr. Chair, I will add that that is in the January 8th packet as well, Ed Pesci's review.
Okay, great. Thank you. Board members. Anybody else out in the public?
I'm not seeing anyone, and
Billy, we
I'll
good
make a
in the
motion.
public?
Yeah, let me make a motion. We close the public.
Yeah,
hearing.
we're good.
Okay. All right. Barry made a motion to close the public hearing. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion made by Barry, seconded by Stephen. Barry,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Barry,
So I'll make a motion at this point that we approve the special permit for the rear lot subdivision with conditions and findings that have been denoted by staff in our report, as well as the additional conditions that we need to put in place as well from today's comments.
great. Thank you, Barry. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion made by Barry, seconded by a tentative Stephen. Barry,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Great. Dan,
Thank you.
thank you. Have a good evening. Oh, you're right back at us.
Not yet.
All right, we are on to Airport Gas, 10 Airport Road. Dan Malloy.
Good evening. I'm here for Airport Gas as well. Megan, you might be seeing Volney St. Clair. You may be trying to get in. All right. Can you share the screen, the plan with the color upon it? You have that one? Perfect. Okay, so I think everyone is likely generally aware of Airport Gas. I won't go into extreme detail as to what's already there. But obviously, gas station, convenience store, car wash, and self-service facility. So the applicants here, being Highland Gas as a tenant of the airport, are looking to do a bunch of site modifications to try to reorganize things, as well as reorganize the interior retail use of the building. So the major changes, overall, I think it's minor in nature for the overall project, but what they're looking to do on the inside is basically regroup the interior retail space. So if you were to come in the front of the building where the gas station is right now, you come in and then there's a small retail component, then you have a car wash bay in the back that's currently used for storage and really one open bay. So they're looking to expand the retail space into that garage bay and then replace the car wash bay behind the building So they'll have the two exterior car wash bays will become 4. And then the interior retail will take over the first floor of the building. There are no changes to the second floor of the building. It's all office space now, and it will remain that way. The only footprint change is to the building itself on the north side of the old South Road side of the building. They're putting a front porch on. Well, they'll put a new main entrance to the building on that side. And there'll be a very, very, very minor, maybe a 1-foot bump out on a stairwell on the right side of the building, almost where the cursor is now. And that's strictly to allow placement of the pressure washer equipment for the car wash. So internally, basically the footprint, minor changes, moving things around. On the outside of the building, you'll see everything generally laid out. There is not a really clear-cut parking plan in place out there today. So we've gone through, we've straightened out a bunch of the pavement edges out here, a lot of the gravel work, trying to clean up some of the landscaping. You'll see some proposed islands, everything in green. The one in the back of the property is in the middle of a gravel parking lot. So we're trying to lay this out in a way where it has some more form to it. It's more functional. You know, as part of this change, we've now laid it all out. We'll have 66 parking spaces on site. Based on the MCD and the uses we're proposing, we only need 25. So we have, well, it should be an abundance of surplus parking on the site. And so outside the site, there's a lot of minor changes all over the place, really. In the front of the site, I think everyone knows where the propane tank is, out by the street. That's being pushed to the back. That's just safety and aesthetics. That's getting pushed out back. The dumpsters, which are in the vicinity of where the propane tank is going, are going behind the building. Again, access and aesthetic-wise, pushing that in the back. And there's minor changes to the diesel pumps. Those are being shifted slightly to allow better truck access. And then the vacuum units are all being pushed to the very back of the property up against the fence for the airport. And there's one additional vacuum station being added. So generally, everything is going to function as it does now, just cleaner, easier, better access, better function. We're not asking for any relief that isn't already in some form, probably already existing. We did ask for a formal request on open space relief, where the site doesn't meet it now, but there was never anything really memorialized, any approvals to that effect. So we have asked for a waiver on the open space requirement. We are increasing open space to the extent that we can, but we are asking for that waiver. That's generally it. Like, it's more of a cleanup exercise than any major expansion.
Great. Thank you, Dan. Questions from the board? Well, I've got a couple of questions, Dan, if I could. So was this MCD done before there was an open space requirement? Is that why it has such little open space on it?
I think the MCD requirement or the open space requirement existed in some capacity. I just doesn't appear that it was ever really memorialized in an approval anywhere that way. Certainly going back in all the old plans, there's no way it ever would have met the open space requirement.
Yeah.
So it just happened, I think.
Yeah, and I'm not being accusatory, just informational. And then second of all, this is on town sewer, correct?
Yes.
Where does the car wash discharge go? Is there a water reclamation, or how is that dealt with?
There's an on-site water reclamation system that is on the southern side of the building. So it goes to this reclamation treatment system, then eventually any excess goes into the sewer system.
Okay, great. Just concerned about PFAS and the wellhead recharge. So that all sounds good. Abby.
I just had a quick question. How come you're putting in so many parking spaces, Dan?
We're not really adding parking. All of the space that's there pretty much exists. We're trying to line it and clean it up so everybody knows where they can park, essentially.
Okay, because I was gonna say there usually are a lot of vehicles around there, so you're just really trying to like maintain the existing capacity that we see today.
That's right. The airport does have, they rent out, I think, one of the buildings in the back, so there's a tenant in the back that parks. And right now, there's no way to clearly define where a parking space is.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Stephen.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just want to follow up on your comment. Dan, through you, Mr. Chair. How do I say this? I think that this is an opportunity. I don't know what state-of-the-art technology is, but car washes are known to be intensive for PFAS use. I'm not suggesting this car wash is, but anything that's soapy and bubbly and makes your car look shiny for long periods of time tends to have a PFAS or a PFAS-like contaminant. Is there, what can you tell us about the holdover system for the wastewater and some type of a testing mechanism being deployed on a regular basis so that if contamination occurs, it's arrested before it develops into some type of a bigger issue?
I can't give you tremendous detail on that. So this is a pre-existing system. I don't have any real specifications on what it is, other than I know it's there and I know it's there. It was put in quite some time ago, I believe, as part of a different planning board approval. But I don't have the specifications on it. I know it's there, it's functioning. I know it's all connected correctly, but I don't know. I can't give you specifications on what the treatment levels are.
Just a quick follow-up on that, Mr. Chair. I think it's important if there's going to be a redo, if there's going to be any type of macadam redo or anything along those lines, that some type of an assessment is made as to, one, the necessity, and then two, which I believe there will be, and then implementation of some type of a solution to help capture and test water at the very least. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. I think that, and I could be wrong, but I think David Gray is working on that on the sewer end, because that's where the water is going to end up. And I think this is an emerging technology that hopefully will come to fruition soon. But I think the important part that is if the water's captured, reclaimed, and what's not goes to the sewer is a much better outcome at this point than it going into the ground for sure. At least the ground by the airport, because I know where it goes when it goes to the sewer. So, any other questions? Billy, how are we doing in the public?
I'm promoting Emily Molden, and she will be followed by Art Casparo.
Great. Welcome back, Emily.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Hello again, everyone. I did have some follow-up questions about this proposal, and I guess that there's a couple of things that I'm just trying to confirm. It sounds like the number of car wash bays or the car wash capacity is actually increasing on the site. Is that correct? Could I just confirm that first? Because I wasn't entirely sure.
I think so. There's 2 exterior bays and 2 interior bays right now. So there's a total of 4 right now. One of them is used for storage, but there's 4 existing bays.
And in the end, we'll have 4, correct?
And there will be 4 presumably operational.
That's correct.
Following. Okay. So I also am actually quite concerned about the potential PFAS contaminants that we know are present in a lot of car wash operations. And I think I understand it sounds like a lot of the wastewater from this operation does end up getting directed to the sewage treatment plant. But I'm pretty concerned that there haven't been more stormwater specifications provided. I think that it's actually really important for the planning board to ask to see the specifications of what is in the ground now. I think that this is the opportunity, this amendment, if we're going to be changing and incorporating new or different car wash bays, that it's really incumbent upon this board to better understand exactly what is happening with that wastewater, particularly in this area where of the island where there's already been so many issues with PFAS contamination. I think that that's an important thing to be provided before the public hearing's closed, and also an operation and maintenance plan for that stormwater infrastructure. And again, really just documenting exactly what is happening with that rinse water. A couple of additional, so I guess my primary concern would be to ask the board before the public hearing's closed if the applicant can be asked to provide those specifications so that we actually know and can see what is happening with that wash water. And then the second thing that I would just raise, looking at the old permits that were provided, and I'm not sure when the stormwater upgrades or the infrastructure improvements were made on the site, but presumably if that was part of a planning board filing, then those would be on record somewhere and could be found and provided. But looking back, I think it was the original 1986 permit. I noticed that there's actually a condition in the decision. It might be 2B or something. I think I saw that actually required biodegradable detergents to be used at all times, which I thought was pretty interesting, especially back in 1986. And so I would just be interested in thoughts on that. I don't know what's currently being used on site. And I also had noticed in that original 1986 permit that it does specify pretty clearly that they provided for 32% of open space on site. It was over 12,000 square feet. And it states that at the time, the open space requirement was 30%. So I do find it somewhat concerning. I know that was quite a long time ago, but that now the board's being asked to sort of automatically grant a waiver for only having 5% when the original permit did specify that 32% would be provided. So those are the concerns that I wanted to raise, but I really would just implore the board for the public's sort of sake to have that stormwater infrastructure and treatment provided before closing the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members? Oh, yep, go ahead, Dan.
I just wanted to try to answer a couple of those, at least on the stormwater front, just quickly. Back in 2020, around 2020, I believe, 21, the airport gas station did have some major drainage improvements and stormwater improvements completed. I wasn't part of that, but I believe Ed Pesci, well, pretty confident Ed Pesci was part of that upgrade process. And at that time, they put some advanced treatment systems in specifically for stormwater, as well as cutoff components, closure systems, and valve systems in case there was any type of a fuel spill. So a lot of that advanced treatment, I think, that's being asked about has been done, and it's only a few years old. We've also, if the board's interested, Volney St. Clair is on. He may have additional information on the car wash if you'd like any more detail on that.
Okay. We have, good evening. We have tried our best to move away from the harsher chemicals. The chemicals we're currently using are very concentrated in the way we receive them. However, by the time they get to the drainage system or the storage system, it is pretty much minuscule and is very biodegradable. We have removed a lot of because it's a self-serve wash, we don't have to have all the waxing requirement that some of the other washes that are highly dosed with PFAS. So we have tried our best to stay away from those type of chemicals. Currently, the storage tanks that we have hold most of all the chemicals and the runoffs from the car wash. We have agreements with Safety Clean, who comes over and pump these pits 2 to 3 times per year, depending on our usage. We also are in the process of doing something similar to what we did at our other car wash, where we're going to have a maintenance manual prepared for this site also.
Great, thank you. Art?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Arthur Gasparo, I'm Chairman of the Airport Commission. And I just wanted to follow up on the letter that the airport manager filed with the board. The Airport Commission has not had a chance yet to discuss this, but did receive a notice as a butter, but also, as the property owner. So we do have it on the agenda for tomorrow night. I think, as you probably saw from the letter from Mr. Carberg, generally supportive. Airport Gas is a great tenant. Though I do think that some of the matters that have been raised by members as well as by Ms. Molden could hopefully be addressed prior to the close of the public hearing. I think that they did great work on their upgrade of the drainage system, but that those plans and the maintenance manual that was just referenced, all of that hopefully would be in the public record as part of a process to update, an MCD, major operation, and be part of your decision prior to the close of the public hearing. So the stormwater operation and maintenance, Mr. Sinclair mentioned that they have Clean Harbors do the maintenance. That's great, but I would think perhaps one of the decisions would be that the board receive copies of those reports, perhaps. Again, just sort of making sure that there's that conditioned approval as it should come out of this. And I think that, what they're proposing, again, I can't speak for the entire commission. My sense of things is there's not so much a concern with that as there is bringing a 1986 permit and the operation up to 2024 standards, and that approval really references and has all of those details. The stormwater stuff, and really is a big one. I know that I saw the report from Mr. Pesci in your packet, but perhaps if he was provided a little bit more information between that. Also, you're in the wellhead, so whether or not you want to get another review from Mr. Willett, is just something I would, put out there for you to consider. Ms. Molden referenced the 1986 32% open space. That's on page 147 of your packet as well, in case you're just trying to find that also. And with respect to that, the other thing that was hit on in Mr. Carberg's letter, which I do think is a concern to the commission, would be a screened buffer to Airport Park on the north. So I would really appreciate if a landscape plan could be provided. The green sketch plan that Mr. Malloy provided is very helpful to see, but I think that it would be helpful to have an actual planting plan with, a meaningful dense evergreen, to be conditioned to be maintained. The original MCD for this actually called for a large screen variety, densely planted around the entire perimeter. And I think, and as well as, your MCD requirements actually require a 10-foot wide buffer there. So I think that if you could just, ask for, or I would hope the applicant would provide those couple of other things. And then finally, I did notice that the application wasn't signed, and perhaps you have a copy of that. It just wasn't in the packet, but I thought that was a little bit strange. But either way, that's, something I think that could be taken care of, but I hope you'll have the applicant can work towards those other items, and thank you for your time.
Great, thank you, Art. Yeah, along those lines, I mean, I think that I would be more comfortable if the stormwater and the water reclamation system were both looked at, and we can be assured that they're functioning and that they are up to date as far as the water reclamation part of it, and that it at least meets what the requirements at some level today for what our concerns are. I think that would be helpful in our review, as well as adding in the landscape plan. And that maybe we should see all that stuff before we close the public hearing and approve this, I think would be helpful. Stephen.
When you're done, Mr. Chair, obviously.
I'm done.
Cool. Yeah, I think just to follow up on that I think it would be important to have the stormwater operations and the management plan, and have Ed look at those with a kind of forward-looking eye on them. With respect to the open space, I'm a little bit concerned about that.
Hmm.
Part of that is with respect to ground area that can percolate water. In this instance, we want to make sure that we've got a sound stormwater system to be picking up any residuals from the car wash. But also, I do the idea of the screening resonates with me in that if there can't be horizontal open space, there can't be horizontal green, there needs to be vertical green. There needs to be something to help give this a little bit better sense of presentation and a little bit better integration into the surrounding environment. It's kind of an abrupt transition from that large park, those nice brass sculptures, interactive space, all green, and then I think there's chain link fence and some other things and all that tarmac. So I do think that that would be an important element in a successful application. Thank you.
Agreed. We put the heat on the folks across the street for that, so it's only fair. Barry?
I just want to concur with you and Mr. Welch on the things that have been brought up in terms of looking at, I think Art brought up a really good idea about the buffer having to go in. I think that'll be a good idea. Also, again, like we said, just to put a looking eye toward both the stormwater as well as the recycling system that they use for the car wash. And the last thing I would love to find out is how we went from 32% to 20% to 5% for open space. Because just looking through some of the documents, it is so unclear how that evolved. So I'd like for the applicant to do a recounting of how did we get there from beginning to end. Just so if nothing else, we have it for our records as to how we got there.
I agree. It's troubling that it was reduced so little without a crumb trail to follow. So
Agreed. And generally within a series of planning board documents, you would tend to see that unless it was discussed and there was an error. But I kind of sat on some of those applications and again, I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't germane at the moment and may have slipped under the radar, but I certainly would like the recounting to see how we got here.
Dan, are you clear at what we're asking?
I think I have a pretty clear understanding of what you're looking for. I'll be honest, we were hoping to close tonight with conditions, but hearing what the board's concerns are, and I think we're making that request is not going to happen. So based on what you're talking about, I think we can get all the information you want. We're just in a time crunch on our end. It's not your problem, but we're in a time crunch in terms of getting this work done with opening up and having everything ready for June. So we were kind of hoping to wrap this up tonight, but I'm not hearing that's going to be an option. So
I appreciate that, Dan, but I think what we're asking is very important for us and for the public to see. And so I think that my hope is that if you get it to us in a timely manner, Ed can review it, we can all look at it and be comfortable enough come next meeting. But I think that we really can't push this through, unfortunately. Stephen.
All right.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Yeah, through you, Dan, are there changes to the actual layout of the parking lot?
Very minuscule. We're moving some curbing here and there just to straighten out some lines, but the general overall footprint is remaining the same.
Okay, and then there's no changes to the structures other than as noted?
Correct.
Okay, I'm just trying to ascertain the differences between what exists and what's proposed, whether it makes sense to have an existing site plan submitted of the same scale, but it doesn't sound like that's necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. All right, with all that said,
I'll request a continuance to the next meeting.
perfect. Someone like to?
So moved. We'll continue to March 11th.
Second.
Motion made by Barry, seconded by Stephen. Barry.
Aye.
Stephen.
Aye.
Joe, hold on.
If you can hear me. Aye.
Is Steven sitting on this?
Um,
Oh,
Oh,
I think
well,
two.
huh?
I'm sorry, I think you activated two. It was
No,
so.
no, and I screwed up. Do I need to appoint two on this, Meg?
It's up to you. Either you can see if John or want to mull it, or you can act two, or whatever you want to, whatever you think is best.
All right, well, let's put Stephen and John on this. Okay. And
My
I apologize. That was my fault. So the second stands. Barry made the motion. Stephen seconded. Barry,
aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
John. You might be muted, John.
You are.
Aye.
Thank you. Joe.
Aye again.
God, what would I have done if this was a 6-hour meeting? And I'm an aye as well. Gentlemen, thank you for your patience. Sorry to put a hitch in your step, but I think it's best for everyone concerned.
Hey, thanks for your time tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, other business. Next planning board member meeting is March 11th. We have a joint meeting with FinCom on March 14th at 4 p.m. And then any public comment? Anybody out there?
No, there are no hands raised.
All right.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Unless the chair wants to hang out and make this a longer meeting.
Uh,
No hot date.
this is kind of a record. Maybe we should sit back and
Yeah, we got a storm to get ready for, Dave.
What's that?
We got a storm to get ready for.
That's
40
right.
No.
Well, it's already here. It's not that bad. You guys will be fine. Okay, so Barry made the motion. Stephen, I don't think you can second. So,
Second.
so Joe,
There we go.
there we go. Motion made by Barry, seconded by Joe. Barry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Staff, thanks for making us look like heroes, and everyone have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.